Everyone thinks realtors make a crazy amount of money off of every sale, but do we really? Today I'm breaking down how much realtors really earn from selling a house in Miami before and after expenses, and you might be shocked. I'm Angie Blanco, a real estate agent here in Miami, so I'll be speaking from firsthand experience throughout this entire video and shedding some light on this topic. So let's go ahead and start with the basics. Most real estate deals in Miami involve a total commission of about 5 to 6% of the sales price, which, unless another agreement was made, is typically split in half between the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So to give you an example, if I'm selling an $800,000 house and the total commission was 6%, then that's $48,000 in total commission fees to the seller. Those $48,000 are then split in half between both agents, so $24,000 to the listing agent and $24,000 to the buyer's agent. However, there's much more to this that's often overlooked and is what people usually don't talk about and simply don't know about, because we do not walk away with those $24,000. There are a lot of fees and expenses that go into selling a house that the average person doesn't see, because if you're not in this industry or know of someone who is and understands how it works, then how can you really know? This is the side of real estate that's not so glamorous and that's not shown to us on all these TV shows that we love so much. You know what I'm talking about. So let's break down that $24,000 commission. Whether you're a listing agent or a buyer's agent, from that $24,000 commission, we have to account for things like our broker split, any office cap that we need to reach, any transaction fees or office fees, taxes, marketing expenses, and so forth. So starting with our broker split, this is different for every agent and can also vary depending on the kind of deal that it is, whether it's a deal that we, the agent, brought in, or if it's a client who was provided to us by our broker. But the split can typically range anywhere from 5% all the way up to 50% and maybe even higher. So to give you a real world example, if my broker split was 30%, then from those $24,000, that's automatically $7,200 taken right off the top, which brings the commission down from $24,000 to $16,800. Now, if we also need to meet a cap at our brokerage, which is like a dollar amount that we need to contribute to the brokerage each and every year, then we need to calculate that too. I've seen caps range from $4,000 a year to upwards of $20,000 a year. But let's say that our brokerage requires an additional 10% out of each deal to help us reach that cap. Well, then that means that our split is now no longer 30%, it's actually 40%. So our commission then is no longer $16,800, it's actually $14,400, because we're now calculating 40% of $24,000 instead of 30%. If there are any transaction fees or desk or office fees, those are then subtracted too. Transaction fees can be about $500 per deal, and office fees can range quite a bit. So for the sake of keeping the math easy in this video, let's just say it's $500 per deal. This means we're at about $14,000 even at this point. Out of this $14,000, we also need to account for Uncle Sam, because since we are self-employed independent contractors, our taxes don't automatically come out of our paychecks. We need to budget for that too. Self-employed tax is roughly 15%, and since I'm in Florida, we don't have any additional state income tax, which could be different for agents in other states. But just calculating how much self-employed tax we should be budgeting for on this $14,000 commission check, it would be about another $2,000, give or take. And if you're wondering how I got to that number, I just multiplied 14,000 by 15%. So this means that our new commission total after taxes is just about $12,000. Crazy, right? Already down by half. But it doesn't stop there, because we haven't accounted for marketing costs yet. When we take on a new listing of a house that we're selling, there are a lot of upfront costs because of things like getting our professional photography and videography done, creating flyers, targeted ads, staging the home if necessary, and so on. And even just the professional photography and videography, depending on the size of the property, can run us a couple $1,000s. And we can bet to at least double it if we also needed to stage the home, again, depending on the size of the house, the kind of furniture, and how long we needed it to be staged for. But let's not go too far and say that we just spend another $2,000 in total for all of our marketing expenses. That then reduces the commission even further from $12,000 to $10,000. Less than half of what we started with. And one other thing, we also have to consider the time it takes to sell a house. In a hot market, a house can sell within a month with minimal effort and expenses. So $10,000 in a month doesn't sound like a bad deal. But in a slower or more balanced and normal market, a house can take months to sell. So for example, if a house took 4 months to sell, then those $10,000 really equal to about $2,500 a month. Doesn't sound very lucrative now, does it? I can think of a lot of other professions where the earnings are much higher than that. Also consider that this is an example of a deal that actually closes, because we also come across instances where the deal will fall apart. As much as we try to prevent that from happening and give everyone their picture perfect happy ending, sometimes things happen that are out of our control, like the buyer loses their job, or God forbid, they pass away, or either the seller or the buyer changes their mind. In those instances, our earnings can potentially go into the negatives because we don't make money on the deals that don't close. And any and all marketing expenses that we've paid for upfront is typically not recuperated. Simply put, our paychecks are not guaranteed, and we really need to work hard for them. And even then, sometimes it takes a bad turn. Some realtors also don't close deals every month, which means that they don't make money for those months. So the months that we do close and we do make some, we have to be extra responsible with that income to make sure that we're prepared for any potential dry months and still have the means to hold ourselves over, because it could happen to anyone. And while this industry could be very lucrative and provide a lot of opportunities to make a great living, it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not as easy as a lot of people make it out to seem. In fact, last year in 2024, over 70% of agents didn't close a single deal throughout the entire year, because it doesn't just happen by accident. The agents who are closing deals and who are earning an admirable income are more than likely doing so not by chance, but by the level of their competence, expertise, and actually providing the service that people are looking for, which is to help them move from one place to the next for whatever the reason. They're apparently making that happen for them, and in return getting compensated for it. So now that you know how much we really make, maybe now the question is, should you sell your house on your own or with a realtor? Take a look at this video here where I talk specifically about that. Happy watching, and I will see you on the next one.